Alright, let's do a mail call and then change some decks. So I picked these up at my LGS today. Basically I traded most of it. I traded a box of Cons of Tarkir. The reason I traded the boxes is so I had 18 boxes of sealed product and they're dead. They're not moving. I had a 5-year window on most of them. Cons was not moving. Ikoria was not moving. A few of them are too new, like Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle-earth, the 2 draft boxes I have of that. It's not, well, it's too new. And with that, so if Wizards doesn't print any more Lord of the Rings cards, and that's it, that's all we get from Lord of the Rings, then I expect them to go up quite a bit. Although, if they print more Lord of the Rings cards, that will renew interest in the older set. So maybe that's what I need to pump those up. So anyway, 1 box of Cards of Tarkir, Metal has opened. I broke even on it. The other box, it was moving. So I asked my LGS what they'd give me, and it was pretty damn close to what I had in it. So I almost broke even in trade. So I got credit. I still have a few crowns of credit on there. I got a pretty good deal. So what did I get? I got this Oromancer. I already owned one, but the one I have is not in good condition. So I wanted one in near mint condition because I love these old frame foils. I like the way they look. I like having them. This card though, look at the top. I don't know if you can see it really, but there's usually the cut line is somewhere on the side. The cut line is right across the top, right above Oromancer, running right through the casting cost. You can kind of see the differentiation when I tilt it. So I got her. She was only about €5, €6. So I've got my perfect condition foil Oromancer. I love Rebecca Gay's art. I also got 2 of these. I got 2 fountain ports. So one is definitely going into Teysa tokens. The Orzhov deck I'm building, the new one, we're rebuilding. The other one, I don't know. I should probably shove it into Aurelia because Aurelia generates a lot of tokens. I was really happy with the amount of tokens she generates. The other token decks I have, so Corvald, he doesn't really need it because he himself is a draw engine. I don't need to be sacrificing tokens to draw a card with Corvald, but I can create fish tokens and treasure tokens with it, so it does create more tokens. So it might be better than Carekeep. So one of these is definitely for Teysa. The other one, I don't know. I'm sure I'll find a place for it. Sorry about the light. I've been doing this late at night. Wife and daughter are sleeping. I'm in the other room. I've got all the light on that I can find. So hopefully it's not too dark and you get clear images. That's also why I'm trying to talk a bit softer. Seal of Cleansing. So Teysa tokens, I mistakenly ordered a flat one. This is the foil one to replace it. They cost the same, 7 crowns, basically nothing. So this is going in Teysa tokens. I forgot. Actually, I never appreciated that Alms Collector is a cleric. I was going through Edgar Siddiqui, Kondo, and just going through the cards and looked at my Alms Collector. I've got a Secret Lair Alms Collector in there. It's really cute. Cat Cleric. Oh, yeah, okay. Because I bought the card being a cat. I bought it for Arebo, which I abandoned. I abandoned Arebo because it was going to be too expensive. It didn't look like it was going to be that much fun. I already have a green-white deck. I don't need another Celestia deck. It fills the same space as it overlaps with a couple of the decks I have, so it's nothing really new. So I abandoned it. And I gave Edgar Siddiqui, Kondo, the Alms Collector. And I realized it's a cleric. So Teysa tokens, clerical tokens, she's got that heavy cleric theme, and with this, and with the Rotling Reanimator that's still on its way, And the Doom Necromancer that is still on its way, she will have 21 clerics. So, pretty good. Pretty good saturation, I think. 20% clerics, 21% clerics. Okay, I got this Arcane Denial. I already have the other version. So, what's funny is, so the other version is in SIG. And I went to pick it up, it was that card. And I told them, I actually ordered this one, but there's no collector number, so it is kind of hard to tell. And they agreed, and they just went in the back and swapped it out. So now I have both versions of Arcane Denial. This does not have a home yet. Probably put it in the Brigo rebuild. You might remember the As Foretold from my last mail call. So that was the anime version. And then looking at Trinity Ortiz, they had this, what is it again? It's not Mystic Archives. Wilds of Eldraine something. I forget what this subset is called, because they've got so goddamn many of them, it's hard to keep them straight. So anyway, I wanted this version too. I like it. I like the art. It tells a story. It's really nice. Again, I have no home for this. I just got it for the art, which is one of the reasons I have so many extra cards, because I get them for the art, or I get them for a deck, and I realize it doesn't quite fit the deck, or I just need to cut something. So every time I build a deck, I usually buy anywhere between 5 to 10 extra cards that do not make it into the deck, that just get stocked in my collection. So my collection keeps slowly growing. I got this Blind Obedience. I thought I would put it in Teysa tokens, so they had this retro art Ravnica, whatever the fuck it's called, third Ravnica set for cheap. So I got it. I should have gotten this one. I should have gotten the Wild. Probably when I end this video, I'll remember what the hell it's called. Wilds of Eldraine something. It's not Mystic Archive. It's not Secret Friends. It's not Havana Swingers. None of that. Something. But I probably should have got the alternate version of Blind Obedience, but I didn't. So here's where most of the trade value went. These were about 30 euros each in trade. And they're pretty. So the plan was, this one is going into Edgar. It's going into Edgar Markov because it's got red in it. The colors kind of fit. Tap, choose a color, add an amount of mana of that color equal to the number of creatures you control. So, vampire. I expect this to make a lot of mana under Edgar. So that will go in. It has home. This one, I got this for Azami, but I'm going to put it in Teysa tokens as an experiment to see if 21 clerics is suitably saturated for this to work. Plus, she has Masquerade Nexus anyway, so all my creatures will be clerics when that hits play, if it hits play. If I draw it, if I find it, if I play it. And if it doesn't get blown up, which is a pretty good possibility. So anyway, I'm going to put this one into Teysa Clerical Tokens. And for Azami, I'll get the winter one. The winter one was about 10 euro more, 5 euro more. These were 800 crowns each. The winter one is 900 crowns. So the winter one, being kind of white and bluish, it fits Azami better. So she'll just have to wait. And the next Austrasian event is not until September anyway, so I think I'm fine there. So let's do that. That's the mail call. And then going through my collection, I found these. Had them in my binder. I'd forgotten about them. I'd overlooked them. Teysa has a good number of creatures that have some kind of tap effect. Doom Necromancer, Whisper, Blood Liturgist. It'd be nice to attack with Grave Titan or Sun Titan. immediately. Aurum Semite Healer. So I'll check and make sure that it's worth putting in both or just one. But one of these will make the deck, that's for sure. So let's set those over there. This Grave Pact, I got this for Teysa tokens, but I'm going to give her Dictate of Erebos because it fits the deck more thematically. Yeah, Flash is better. Flashing and Dictate is a lot better than playing a Sorcery Speed Grave Pact. But in Edgar, it doesn't really matter as much. And Edgar really doesn't care for Dictate of Erebos because he doesn't have any gods in the deck. It's all vampires. Teysa tokens has Athreos, Heliod, and if I put Dictate of Erebos, then that just makes sense to me. So let's make the change, which should be pretty straightforward. Let's get out Edgar Markov. Edgar Markov, the crowd favorite. One of the decks that all of you love to see me show off and look at. Everybody loves Edgar except my opponents. So Edgar, will you stand up? No. Stand. Yes, son of a bitch, are you drunk? But it's so dark you can't see it. Anyway. So I've already decided what I'm going to take out for the 3-tree city. So I'm just looking for... I thought about taking out Cabal Coffers and Urborg. But Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, serves an extra purpose in Edgar. I've got a lot of lands that... now I'm not seeing them. So let me find some. Like Sulphur Springs. It'd be nice to tap for black without taking damage. Bonder's Enclave. It'd be nice to tap it for black sometimes. What else? Opal Palace. Tap it for black. So all these specialty lands that don't tap for a color, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, sorts that out. So if I have Urborg, I might as well have Cabal Coffers. I mean, it's pretty low-hanging fruit, isn't it? It really doesn't take a whole lot of imagination. Volra Stronghold, Urborg is out, that taps for black. If Urborg is out, Urborg taps for black. That's always nice. My fetch lands, I can tap them for black if I need to, if I want to. Phyrexian Tower. Path of Ancestry, but it has 1 mana of any color, so it doesn't really matter. High Market. So I don't have as many as I thought I did. It feels like I have a lot more. But apparently that feeling of a lot more is not the reality of having a lot more. So City Brass is coming out, even though I really like this art. I like Tom Warnerstrand's work. So that's coming out for 3-tree city. I don't know what sleeve they used. I don't know if it's a KMC, so I'm going to recycle the KMC sleeve. City Brass was in. And Edgar Markov now has a 3-tree city. So let's find that Dictate of Erebos. I should have looked for it more intently, but I was focusing on the land. I'm pretty sure it's in this half of the deck, though. Pretty sure. Looks like I was wrong. It is not in that half of the deck. It must be in this half of the deck. If it is not in this half of the deck, I'm just going to say, what the fuck? But it is in this half of the deck. So Dictate of Erebos comes out of Edgar Markov. Look at his eyes. They glow. His eyes. And Edgar gets this nice Grave Pact, already in the KMC sleeve. So that's 2 changes to Edgar. Let's take a look at Teysa tokens. Oh, by the way, get it out, yeah. Here's that As Foretold that I was talking about. So I've got 2 versions of it. Neither one has a home. Yet. But I'm sure it will. Come on, Edgar. Let's go back in the box. I don't want to go back in the box. I want to smash face and drink blood. Yes, Edgar, you will smash face and drink blood. You will drink the blood of my enemies. Put those in as carefully as I can. All right. That's one down. Let's take a look at Teysa tokens. Put that there. Open the box. Teysa's already... So again, this is how I store my commander decks. 5 decks in a 800 count box. So an 800 count box only holds 500 double sleeved cards with a bit of room, and I put a spacer in it. So this is just an Ice Age box filled with basic lands. So I just shoved it full of basic lands. The basic lands are ones for my commander deck. So what I do is, for example, these are from Muldroth. No. These are from Kenrith. These are Kenrith's basic lands. So he only has 7 of each. And what I do is I'll have 13 of each in the box of basic lands. So if I want to build a 2-color deck with these lands, I will probably need 9 to 10 of each basic land. So I want 13. Now, if I build a 5-color deck, I don't need 9 or 10 of each basic land. So the extra I pull out of the box so they will not go into another deck. So if you pick up one of my decks and you look at the basic lands, no other of my commander decks will have those basic lands. Full stop. These are Muldrotha's. She's one of the few commander decks I have that have all the basic lands foiled out. Most of the other ones do not. These are Kestia's, so no other deck will have these Bant basics. And these Island, Swamp, Mountain. So those have to be Nekazar. So anyway, I store the basic lands that I take out of the basic land box, pack it in here, and this is the spacer. This takes up the extra space. So anyway, let's take a look at Teysa. Let's see what I've got for her now. I'm already 17 minutes in. It's probably going to need a part 2. So right off, I'm thinking 38 lands for her. So that means I have 61 slots for cards because she takes up a slot. So that'd be 39. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33. I have 33 lands. 34, 35. So 35 lands. So I need to shove in 3 more lands. I already know I want a Vora Stronghold. I want Urborg and Cabal Coffers. I want Nix's Shrine to Nyx. They're kind of expensive right now, so I'll probably just... I want her ready for next Thursday. Today is Friday, October 2nd, Year of our Lord, 2024. So, next Thursday I want her to be ready. So, if I don't get any more of the non-basics, or as the genie calls them, Tony's bullshit lands, if I don't get any more bullshit lands, then I'll flesh it out with basics. So there's her Fountain Port. So that's her mana base so far. A command tower is coming in. I forgot about that. So she has a command tower coming in. So that's 36. Meaning I only need 2 more lands and then she'll have her full suite. 3 Tree is a legendary land. Speaking of that, I was going through my collection and I found that I had a Misfold Plains, so I shoved that in here. I found that I had a Vault of the Archangel flat, so non-foil, but still gives all my creatures lifelink or death touch for the low cost of 4 mana and it. Alright, so Dictate of Erebos to go in. The sleeve is a bit scuffed. The card is still perfect because the sleeve has been taking the hits for the card. Excuse me. So let's put a new sleeve on there because I've got this fresh pack of KMC sleeves. Make it nice and clean so I can see the art, see it nice and shiny. And let's make some cuts. This is the part I hate, making cuts. Dictate of Erebos. Okay, so artifacts. Arcane Signet, Maskwood Nexus, Mana Rock, need to keep that. Skull Clamp, I definitely want that. Mana Rock, okay. Not too many artifacts. Set those to the side. Planeswalkers. Okay, so gain life, yeah, that's nice. Put 3 soldier tokens on the battlefield. That's really what she's here for. It's -2, so it would be every other turn I do that until she gets killed. Or I need to blow up everything so it lands tokens, which is possible. Kaya Geist Hunter, she's here because if I make tokens, I double them. So if I've got both of them in play, I get 6 1/1 creatures tokens by neg-2ing both of these, which definitely puts Kaya in the danger zone. Legendary creatures, okay, Athreos, I definitely want to keep him. 8.5 tails, he's a cleric, and he does some cool stuff. Can change something white, gives one of my creatures protection from white. Heliod, God of the Sun, he creates cleric tokens, gives everything else vigilance, so stays. Lurrus of the Dream Den is pretty much in here. So, for example, the seal of Cleansing. Let's put all these here so I see them that might go in. So when I sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay. If I have Lurrus out, then I can cast it and do it again. So I've got a repeatable disenchant. There's some other effects in there. So Lurrus is good in the deck. Aura is a cleric. Only a 3/3 lifelinker, but he's black and white, so Deathbringer Liege will give him +2/+2. He returns things from their graveyard. There's a hoop to jump through, of course, but there's that potential. Aurum Samite Healer. Excuse me. I really don't want to take her out. But she does cost 3. She's only a 1/3. She is a cleric, and I can tap her to prevent 3 damage, which isn't that impressive. So maybe I'll drop her. Or what I'll do is I'll put in the, was it Bellower? Spirit that untap all creatures you control during everybody else's upkeep. Might put that in here. Revos, so he brings things back from the dead, raises dead every turn. During my upkeep, he gives all my creatures +1/+1, my other creatures. He flies. Pretty good in the deck. Teysa Karlov. I don't have a whole lot of dying effects. Rattling Reanimator is one that comes to mind. I don't have a lot of others, but my creature tokens get Vigilance and Lifelink, so she does double duty. She definitely deserves this slot in the deck. Thalys, another cleric. If I make tokens during anybody's turn, if she's in play at the end of the turn, I get a 1/1 white spirit token for every token I created. So she has a place in the deck. Whisper, sacrifice 2 creatures, return target creature. So in instant speed, I can sack 2 tokens and bring something back from the dead. Auric Champion, she's a cleric. I don't have the other 2 Soul Sisters, so she's filling in for both of them. And Protection from black and red, that can be relevant. Bloodburn of Viscopa, he does not need to be in the deck. He's only here because I like him a lot. 4/4 Lifelinker, Protection from black and white, that could be relevant. This bit, I don't care unless it happens, which is unlikely. Because if somebody else is at 10 life, I'm probably below 30 myself. So I don't want to take him out. Bygone Bishop, Cleric. Whenever I cast a cheap creature, I get a clue token. Clarion Spirit, whenever I cast my second spell, I get another creature. I get a 1/1 white spirit creature token. Deathbringer Liege. So he makes my creatures bigger, and if I play a black and white creature, I kill something. So he definitely deserves his slot in the deck. Which means I'm a good way through the deck, and I've got no obvious cuts. And there's about 5 cuts I need to make if I'm going to shove these in here. Edgewalker, Cleric. He makes my clerics cheaper. He kind of, goes in the deck. Frontline Medic. So whenever he and 2 other creatures attack, my creatures become indestructible that turn, and I can sack him to force somebody playing in spell with X and its mana cost an extra 3 or it's countered. So, and I've got a lot of ways to bring it back, so he earns his slot. Geist Honored Monk. So she is not a cleric, she's a monk. But she comes into play and I get 2 1/1 white spirit creature tokens with flying. Keep her. Grave Titan. I get zombie tokens. I need token generator. I don't have that many token generators in the deck, to be honest. So I'm very loath to cut any of the ones I do have. Master Apothecary, tap and untap cleric you control, prevent the next 2 damage. So if I've got a bunch of clerics, if I got Masquerade Nexus out, for example, I can really take the sting out of a big attack or some big spell. That Annie looks cool, so. Mother of Runes, Cleric, give something protection color of my choice, so in turn. Scholar of Athreos. So she probably doesn't need to be in here. 2 and a black, each opponent loses. So if I have the 3 city and it's working, she's a good mana sink. And I gain life equal to the life lost this way. So that's really nice. So I'm talking myself out of cutting her. Sin Collector, 3 for a 2/1. When he comes into play, target opponent reveals their hand, and I choose an instant or sorcery card and exile it. Yeah, Cleric. And the thing about him is I want some clerics that for example, Mother Runes, I don't want to tap her to prevent 2 damage. Orms, I might heal her. I would tap her to prevent 3 damage. Him, if he's in play, excuse me, then if Master Apothecary is in play, then I can tap him to prevent 2 damage. I don't care because he's done his job when he came into play. And I'm going to splice in part 2. Okay, here we go with the splice in part 2. Solitary Vision, he's a cleric. He's a Cleric of Shadow. And if he damages any player, I could destroy an enchantment they control. Yeah, better keep him. Sun Titan, if the Solitary Visionary is dead, he brings him back. He brings back other things too. And since I have Grave Titan, I like the balance of having Sun Titan. So in some ways I'm still being a slave to the theme. True Believer, Cleric, give me Shroud. I can't be the target of spells or abilities, so preventing damage is not targeting. don't think I have anything in here that targets me. So he's not committing a non-bow with the rest of the deck. So he stays. Veteran Bodyguard. Okay, if he's untapped, all damage that would be dealt to me is dealt to him instead. He takes it all. I can't prevent any of it. No, I can prevent it. I cannot take any of the damage myself. So I can't say, if I'm attacked 4 creatures, I can't say, okay, I'll take the damage from that one. No. He takes the damage from all 4 creatures. I can prevent the damage. I can block those creatures. But if they would hit me, then he takes it. And he's only 2/5. But I've got a lot of ways of bringing things back from the dead. And he is cool, and he is the only signed card in the deck. And I do like putting at least one signed card in all of my decks. Vizkopa Confessor. 5 for 1/3 with Extort. When it comes into play, I pay any amount of life. Target opponent reveals so many cards from their hand, and I choose one of them and exile it. He does cost 5. He's only 1/3, but he's still a cleric. And he does something interesting. Withered Wayfarer. So he finds lands, and he's a cleric. Withered Wretch. Remove a card in the graveyard from the game. So I'm not playing Bojuka Bog. In fact, it was funny. Last night, last time I talked about this, about Bojuka Bog, about the way it works. So the way I see it, almost always, with very, very few exceptions, people play Bojuka Bog because they need a land. They play it, and they look around. How many cards do you have in your graveyard? 2. How many do you have? None. How many do you have? I have 3. Okay, I'll exile your graveyard because you have the most cards. They don't even look at the cards. They just, because they have to exile some graveyard when the bog comes into play. And that's it. And the genie was arguing, no, people play it strategically. It's a great card. It's a strategic card. You hang on to it. You wait. And what happened last night? Cube played its Bojuka Bog about turn 4 or 5. And I said, you can play that strategically, you know. And he said, yeah, but he needed to land. So, no Bojuka Bog in this deck. Angelic Renewal. Okay, if any creature is put in graveyard from play, I can sacrifice this and put one of those into play. Lurus of the Dream Den can get this back. Sun Titan can get this back. So this is repetitive regeneration. These two, I should probably cut one of them. They fill kind of the same space. So Fanatical Devotion. Regenerate target creature. Martyr's Cause. Sacrifice a creature. Prevent all damage from one source. When it comes to Veteran Bodyguard, regenerating him is a lot better than preventing damage from one source, because in the example of the 4 creatures, each of those is a different source of damage. So I'd have to sacrifice 4 creatures to prevent all the damage. Now, given he's a 2/5, if a couple of the creatures are, say, 2/2 or 1/3 or something like that, it wouldn't kill him, then I don't really need to prevent that damage. Prevent all damage to creature. So this isn't target, so this would work for me with True Believer still. Fanatical Devotion. Okay, I'm going to take out the Fanatical Devotion for now. I'm going to stick with Martyr's Cause. And if it doesn't work, then I still got the Fanatical Devotion to lock onto. Field of Souls. Whenever a non-token creature is put in my graveyard from play, I get an Essence token. A 1/1 white spirit creature with flying. Is this really worth the slot? So, what's going to happen? How many times will this trigger? How many times will this really be interesting and effective? This is a card that I always put in the initial stack, and then I always end up taking it out. And this looks like it's going to be another one of those times. So let's set that to the side. Land tax. The beginning of my upkeep, if opponent controls more lands than I can search for up to 3 basic land cards, show them off, put them in my hand. and then shuffle. Only costs 1. The thing is, I need to remain 1 land behind at least one of my opponents in order to keep doing this. I need to be at least 1 land behind my opponents to trigger Weathered Wayfarer. So, not sure about land tax. It's a really good card, but do I need it in this build? Set it to the side. Okay, Martyr's Cause, we already talked about that. Okay, Necromancer's Covenant. Now this I'd play strategically. When it comes to play, exile all creature cards in target player's graveyard, then put a 2/2 black zombie creature token into play for each card moved this way. And my zombies get lifelink. And I've got a couple, not many, but I've got a couple zombie clerics in here. Grave Titan makes zombies. This makes zombies. So that should stay. Open the Graves. So basically, this is Field of Souls for zombies. They're essentially the same card, except Open the Graves costs 1 more colorless, and I get a 2/2 black zombie. So if I cut Field of Souls, I should probably cut Open the Graves, because Field of Souls is cheaper, and the creatures fly. So, set both of those aside. Seal of Cleansing. Alright, let's get this over with. Take out the flat one. Put in the shiny foil one. I did want a Nemesis version. I wanted an original Nemesis, but those are about €20 in near mint condition. So, okay, I can either spend €20 for this niche card, which is beautiful, which I would like to have, or I can spend 20 euro cents and get this, so I got that. Smothering Tithe. Okay. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they may pay 2. If they don't, I get a treasure. Which means if I have this and the lease out, when they draw a card on their turn, if they do not pay, then I get a treasure token. At the end of the turn, I get a spirit. So that will stay just because of that possibility. Then I have Black Fog. I don't want to take it out because I like the surprise. I like the fact that nobody expects it. Eerie Interlude. Doesn't do anything for my tokens, but it will save my non-token creatures from a board wipe. And I don't have an extra Teferi's Protection right now. White Fog. Even less expected than Black Fog. Mortify, in case I need to take a creature or enchantment out right now. Okay, Vampiric Tutor. I went back to my collection and I decided Teysa can have a Vampiric Tutor. I don't have an extra expedition map to go find one of the specialty lands, one of the Tony bullshit lands. So Vampiric Tutor is going to fill that duty. Spend 1 black. At the end of opponent's turn that precedes you, pay 2 life. Go find 3 Tree City and put it on top of your library. Zealous Persecution. I don't know if I really want this or yet. Another card that often I pull out and often I take it out of the deck once I need to start making cuts. Until end of turn, my creatures get +1/+1, and my opponent's creatures get -1/-1. It's a nice surprise. Really doesn't do a whole lot unless I have Ethereal Absolution out. Let's keep it for now. Plus it's black and white, so when I cast it, if Deathbringer Liege is in play, it'll kill something. Army of the Damned. Okay. I need some big splashy cards. Every commander deck needs at least a couple big splashy cards. So this would be good with 3 Tree City. Now, I would pick Cleric still. So it's not going, 3-2 City won't tap for zombies, but if I have enough clerics, it'll take the sting out of that 8 mana, and I should get this out relatively quickly. Okay, I don't have a Wrath of God in here, don't have a Damnation here. I should have Wrath of God here because it is a clerical tokens deck, a holy deck, with a bit of unholiness, but there you go. I can also do Austere Command, which costs 1 more, and it splits the creatures into big ones and little ones, and it splits artifacts and enchantments. I just want to play this. So there's the board wipe, Conqueror's Pledge. So I get 6 1/1 white core soldier creature tokens. If I kick it, then I get 12. Yep, better keep that. Council's Judgment. Don't know if I really need it. So everybody votes for something I don't control, and then we exile each permanent with the most votes or tied. So something would go away. Sounds like fun. Damn! Did the board wipe. What am I looking at after making those cuts? Is that enough cut, or do I still need more? I'll just count quick. So 1. 54. 54, meaning I've got 7 slots. -2 because of Rattling Reanimator, because of Doom Necromancer. So I've got 5 slots. Well, I forgot about that. 4 slots. So 4 slots. And Greaves. How many real tap effects do I have? But Greaves also protects Teysa, so there is that. Let's see, who taps to do something? She 1, 2. I had to sacrifice him. That's 2. He just says tap and tap cleric, so he doesn't care about summoning sickness. 3, 4. So I only have 4 things that care about summoning sickness. Interesting. So I could put something back, actually. I could put something back in here. But what? So this is what I'm thinking of cutting. The land tax. That'd be the best thing to shove back in there. Field of Souls. I also have a Mentor the Meek coming in that I meant to put in this deck, but I'm thinking I have so many ways of giving my creatures +1/+1. I don't know how often I would trigger it, but what I should probably do is play with it, so I will call that number 5. So I'll put these in, and Mentor the Meek, Rattling Reanimator, Doom Necromancer, and that will be the deck. That'll be it. So, Theory of Absolution, creatures go +1/+1, creature my opponent's control get -1/-1. Exile a card in opponent's graveyard. If it's a creature card, it get a 1/1 black and white spirit creature type with flying. So if I have Deathbringer Liege, it by default creates a 3/3, which is nice. So again, Field of Souls comes out. Someday I will put this in the deck and leave it there. Maybe what'll happen is I'll realize something doesn't really work in this deck and put it there instead. So Alms Collector goes in, stops people from drawing excess cards, and makes them share with me. Blind Obedience. So Extort and slows down my opponents, so their creatures come into play tapped. Slowing down my opponents is probably what I need in this deck because I don't expect it to be that fast. The last Teysa build I have was not that fast, but this is a bit different. Creature selection is different. I'm not as much of a slave to the theme. I'll explain that in the video where I will discuss that. This could be a mistake. Taking out land tax could be a mistake, but I would rather have Weathered Wayfarer out and find any land I want than just fill my hand with basic lands. Just not that kind of a deck. So anyway, in goes one creature, 2 enchantments, and then 1 artifact. And that's going to be Teysa token. So once I get the Mentor the Meek, Rottling Reanimator, Doom Necromancer. Let's get a shot for the thumbnail. Let's get some pretty cards in there. How's that? A lot of glare. There we go. Get that Athreos. People want to see Athreos, I'm sure. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see how it works, and I'll let you know. Cheers.